On August 6, 1945, the world witnessed a new kind of destruction, unimaginable, catastrophic, and all-encompassing. The first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, Japan, marking the beginning of the nuclear age. Among the chaos and devastation, one man emerged from the ashes, only to face a second atomic blast just 3 days later in Nagasaki. His name is Tsutomu Yamaguchi. How did Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a humble engineer, survive not one but two atomic bombings? What was his story of resilience and survival in the face of humanity's most horrifying weapon? And what can his life teach us about the enduring human spirit? The story of Tsutomu Yamaguchi is one that defies belief. Born on March 16, 1916, in Nagasaki, Japan, Yamaguchi was an engineer working for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. His job took him to various locations, including Hiroshima. Little did he know that his routine business trip to Hiroshima in August 1945 would place him at the epicenter of one of history's most devastating events. Yamaguchi's tale is not just about surviving two atomic bombings. It's a story of endurance, strength, and the human capacity to rebuild after the unthinkable. On the morning of August 6, 1945, Tsutomu Yamaguchi was preparing to leave Hiroshima after a 3-month business trip. As he made his way to the shipyard where he worked as an engineer for Mitsubishi, a B-29 bomber appeared in the sky above the city. At 8:15 a.m., the Enola Gay dropped the atomic bomb, codenamed Little Boy, on Hiroshima. The blast produced a blinding flash of light, followed by a wave of intense heat and a shockwave that flattened buildings for miles around. Yamaguchi was approximately 3 kilometers or 1.9 miles from the epicenter of the blast. The force of the explosion knocked him to the ground, rupturing his eardrums, blinding him temporarily, and leaving his upper body severely burned. Dazed and injured, Yamaguchi managed to find shelter, and, despite his wounds, he spent the night in an air raid shelter with 2 of his colleagues who had also survived the blast. The city of Hiroshima was unrecognizable. Over 70,000 people were killed instantly, with tens of thousands more dying in the following weeks from radiation sickness and injuries. Despite his own severe injuries, Yamaguchi was determined to return home to Nagasaki. On August 7th, he boarded a train, enduring a harrowing journey through the devastated landscape, and arrived in Nagasaki the following day. The Hiroshima bomb had an explosive yield of approximately 15 kilotons of TNT, and it is estimated that by the end of 1945, up to 140,000 people had died as a result of the bombing. Yamaguchi's survival was nothing short of miraculous, but his ordeal was far from over. Back in Nagasaki, Yamaguchi was reunited with his wife, Hisako, and their infant son. Despite his injuries, he reported for work on August 9th, determined to explain to his supervisors what had happened in Hiroshima. As he recounted his experience, describing the unimaginable power of the bomb, a second flash of light filled the sky. At 11:02 a.m. on August 9, 1945, a second atomic bomb, codenamed Fat Man, was dropped on Nagasaki. This bomb was even more powerful than the one dropped on Hiroshima, with an explosive yield of approximately 21 kilotons of TNT. Tsutomu Yamaguchi was once again approximately 3 kilometers from the epicenter, this time in an office building. The force of the explosion caused the building to collapse, but Yamaguchi miraculously survived once again, though he was severely injured and exposed to further radiation. Yamaguchi staggered out of the ruins of the office building, finding his way back to his home. Incredibly, his wife and son had also survived the bombing. Hisako had been out buying burn ointment for her husband when the bomb fell, and by a stroke of luck, she was shielded from the worst of the blast. The family's home was destroyed, but they were alive. The bombing of Nagasaki resulted in the deaths of an estimated 40,000 people instantly, with the total number of deaths reaching approximately 70,000 by the end of the year. The city was left in ruins, and survivors faced unimaginable suffering from injuries, radiation sickness, and the loss of loved ones. Yet, amidst this devastation, Yamaguchi's incredible story of survival was unfolding. The dual bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki resulted in the deaths of over 200,000 people, making them 2 of the deadliest events in human history. Yamaguchi's survival in both cities is a statistical anomaly, making his story one of the most remarkable tales of human endurance ever recorded. In the aftermath of the bombings, Tsutomu Yamaguchi faced a long and painful recovery. His burns and injuries were severe, and like many survivors, he suffered from radiation sickness, which caused symptoms such as hair loss, nausea, and intense fatigue. Despite these challenges, Yamaguchi returned to work at Mitsubishi and began the difficult task of rebuilding his life in a city that had been almost completely destroyed. In the years that followed, Yamaguchi became an advocate for nuclear disarmament and peace. He was one of the few survivors, known as Hibakusha, who openly spoke about his experiences, using his story to highlight the horrors of nuclear warfare. In 2006, at the age of 90, Yamaguchi spoke before the United Nations in New York, calling for the abolition of nuclear weapons. His message was clear: the world must never forget the devastation caused by these weapons, and it must never allow such destruction to happen again. In 2009, Tsutomu Yamaguchi was officially recognized by the Japanese government as the only person to have survived both atomic bombings. This recognition came just a year before his death at the age of 93. Yamaguchi's story has since been told in books, documentaries, and films, becoming a powerful symbol of human resilience and the enduring spirit of survival against unimaginable odds. The chances of surviving 2 atomic bombings are astronomically low, making Yamaguchi's story a singular event in human history. His life serves as a poignant reminder of the horrors of nuclear war and the importance of working towards a peaceful and nuclear-free world. Surviving 2 atomic bombings is a feat that defies comprehension, yet Yamaguchi lived to tell his story and to advocate for a world free of nuclear weapons. Yamaguchi's life reminds us of the devastating consequences of war and the incredible strength of the human spirit. His story is not just about surviving the most destructive weapons ever created, but about using that experience to work towards a better future for all humanity. If you were moved by the story of Tsutomu Yamaguchi, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more stories of human resilience and courage. Let us remember Yamaguchi's message of peace and work together to ensure that such tragedies never happen again.